Hello, Melanin Monarchy citizens. This is Monique here, coming to you with another concert review. Well, we are going to be reviewing Jodeci and SWV today. Sadly, Drew Hill was supposed to be a part of that block party. They were unable to make it at this particular concert here in San Diego. But all is forgiven. But we're gonna go into it. However, we're gonna do something a little differently. Before we talk about the concert, we're gonna go ahead and go into 7 Degrees of Depeche Mode. Here we go. Now, SWV has they've been around for a very long time, and they have a great relationship with Mary J. Blige. They sang with her, they toured with her, have a good relationship. And as we all know about the infamous relationship between Mary J. and Casey back in the 90s, well, Mary J. Blige has also been able to rack up an amazing IMDb. And one of her performances was on a little TV show called Entourage. And in that show, Entourage, there were the likes of Jeremy Piven and Kevin Dillon. Well, we all know Kevin Dillon's big brother is Matt Dillon. And Jeremy Piven also played in a movie called Singles. Well, Singles, you know, it had all the grunge bands, right? It was like the romantic movie with all the romantic grunge. I don't know how you say that, but romantic grunge movie of the 90s. And it had Soundgarden, it had Alice in Chains, it had Mother Love Bone, it had just a bunch of different, all the Seattle grunge bands at that time basically were in that movie, or their music was featured in that movie. Well, one of the bands that had their music featured in that movie was a band called the Screaming Trees. Now, a member of the Screaming Trees, his name was Mark Lanegan, if I'm saying that correctly. Mark Lanegan, who sadly passed away last year. You know, you guys, a lot of people are just, you know, tomorrow's not promised to any of us. It's not promised to any of us, whether you're a musician, artist, lay person who's working in a company. It's just not promised to any of us. So sadly, Mark Lanegan is no longer with us. But Mark Lanegan also collaborated with another group called Soul Savers. And as all devotees know, Soul Savers and Dave Gaunt have had an amazing relationship for a few years now. So there you go. That's our 7 Degrees of Depeche Mode, is how we connect SWV and Jodeci with Depeche Mode. All right, you guys, we have to get down into this concert. There's a lot I have to cover. I have my notes right here, and I'm gonna do it a little bit out of order. We're gonna talk about some things a little bit out of order than people would normally expect me to talk about. And I can just say this. If you were a thug in any culture, you were probably at this show last night. I mean, all the Thuggish Ruggish came out. Thuggish Ruggish, you know, of course, black are people who are devoid of melanin, lacking a little melanin. Thuggish Ruggish Filipinos, Thuggish Ruggish Mexicans, Thuggish Ruggish Guamanians, Thuggish Ruggish Hawaiians, Samoans, Thuggish Ruggish. I want to even say, you know, natives, if you were from the tribe, the Navajo tribe, the Kumeyaay tribe, the Blackfoot tribe, Cherokee, wherever, there was every single Thuggish Ruggish person at this concert, and they came to have a good time. I want to give a huge thank you to part of the tour management. His name is Neville, and he treated me wonderfully. So Neville, thank you so much. And he was just great. The beginning of the concert, they had a DJ Sean Nice. This guy was on it. He came to give a party. Everybody was just, he knew how to get the crowd hyped. He was just playing music. He was getting the crowd hyped. He was going from the West Coast to the East Coast to the South Coast to the North Coast. He was playing music. Everybody was up and dancing. It was so fun. I have not had fun like that at a concert. Well, of course, Depeche Mode. That's not what I was saying, but it was complete, pure fun. I was so proud of everybody. Everybody was having a great time. So I just really want to thank the DJ, picking that DJ, having that DJ there. I'm not sure if he's been there for the whole block party tour, that SWV and Jodeci has been on, but he was absolutely amazing. So DJ Sean Nice. And okay, so we're going to talk about Jodeci before we get to talk about SWV. And Jodeci, first, the venue, I never like to talk about a venue, and I don't really like to criticize a venue, but I've been at this venue a couple of times, and I want to say that probably the camera director needs to be fired. Needs to be fired. You should know, if you're not there for a sound check, if you don't, watch some videos of the artists, so you can see how their formation is going to be. So your cameras are not off. You're supposed to really have one camera on the person that's singing. I know it was, different people singing or whatever, and probably get a wide shot so that you can get the whole stage. So if they switch singers on you, you're not looking like you're just flying all over the place like you don't care. But I kind of feel like maybe the cameraman, the director just comes up and he go, okay, you guys, we just gonna do this. They've been moving all over the place, so we just gonna, you need to, you don't like your job. So just go, just leave, right? Whatever. Jodeci, this was my first time seeing Jodeci. If you can believe it, it's my first time. And they came out and they had these really nice green, like a green jackets, and they had their black clothes on. And I can tell you, JoJo, Casey, Dalvin, and Devontae, they all have their own personalities. Really, they all have their own personalities, and I like that. I like when people, they can show their own personalities. Now, they're a little older now, so they're a little bit slower. But that Dalvin, he was like he was 25 years old. He was doing some stuff like I haven't seen since college. He was on it. And I really, really appreciate that. And their voices have a little bit of wear and tear, on it. But by the time they got on stage, they were the last, and they got on stage last. And the crowd was so hyped. I mean, they could have just basically stood there and, spoken their songs. We were already so hyped up that we were just going to have a good time regardless of what was going on. But they had their visuals up, some of that. And you know what, you guys, they had their visuals up of this video that they did. Basically, I think it was like in the desert or something like that, wearing these hot behind clothes in the desert. Ew. But that was the videos back then, right? Where you had to be fresh. You were wherever the director placed you, right? Whether it was in the snow or in the desert or whatever, but you still have to represent. So it was really nice. I loved their visuals. So you guys definitely go see Jodeci if you can. I really, really enjoyed them, and I thought that they were wonderful. Is that it on Jodeci? I think that's where we're gonna go with Jodeci. So thank you, Jodeci, for coming to San Diego. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna talk about SUV. You guys, SUV, Sisters with Voices, they are a class act. These women are, I don't see why they're not selling out. I know they like to support or whatever, but when they bring a show, they bring a show. And they came out, they had their dancers come out. And you guys, listen, this is me and dancers. When you have dancers on the stage, dancers for me are distracting. I don't like dancers. Maybe that's why I've never seen Janet Jackson, because I just don't like dancers I'm not a dancer. So when I see dancers on the stage and I'm supposed to be listening to singing and bands or whatever, and you got a dancer on the stage, I just kind of feel like that's distracting to me. So, because I'm looking at the dancer and I'm trying to watch this person sing, and the dancer's doing stuff, and it's just too small. I saw Keith Sweat. Keith Sweat had a bunch of dancers, but I get it because he was by himself. So he had his girls out there dancing, and you're watching their routine, and you're not really paying too much attention to Keith Sweat. You're hearing them, but for me, dancers, employ them, yes. If you must, yes. There was one dancer, she looked like she was a classically trained dancer, and that was a huge distraction because I wanted to see what she was about, right? I wanted to all right, she's classically trained, she's doing some things on stage, I want to give her attention, but I came to see SWV, so I want to hear them sing too, and she's dancing, they're singing, so there's a little bit of a distraction. So that's just me. I can just say, you know what, you can bring the dancers. I'm just not there, right? Because I came to hear them sing. But the dancers were also useful too, because when SWV came out, they had these amazing outfits on. They were black and they were glittery. It looks like they had some kind of, I don't know, they're sewn on sequins, but you could see them. I wasn't in the back. Look, I'm like tearing up everything, you guys. And you can see them like way back. And so I enjoyed that. I enjoyed like their outfit, and they had all this coat on, right? They had this coat. And when they got on stage and they were about to sing, the dancers took their coats off, right? So I was like, hey, that's a little James Brown. I like that. That was a little classy, right? And then they got to sing, and they had like these corsets on, and these black corsets, and they just look beautiful. They look stylish. They look beautiful, you know. And I enjoyed whoever designed their clothes or whoever brought that whole outfit together. They had nice choreography also with the dancers too. They had their own choreography, but they kind of incorporated with the dancers. So I appreciated that. Their voices were amazing. And I just thought that they just really, I've seen them before and they were good, you know, but this time seeing them again, this is why it's good to see the people that you like a couple of few times, because chances are that they're going to bring something different. Chances are they might be less, but chances are they might be more. And SWV increased, they leveled up. They were just, Coco's hairstyle, she had this blonde short thing going on, and their makeup was great. Then they also, smart divas, they had on flats. I think they were slides, but they were flats. And they were still singing, and Coco sang a Patti LaBelle song, If Only You Knew. Now, Patti LaBelle sang it when I saw her a couple of weeks ago. She sang it just a little bit, but you know, Coco sang that song like Patti LaBelle used to sing that song. But Coco sang that song. And it is, if you guys know R&B music and you know Miss Patti LaBelle, anybody trying to come behind Patti LaBelle to sing their songs, you got a hard road to toe. But Coco has been doing this thing for 40 years, and she brought it. She brought it with her being a mature woman, you know, mature woman. She's like my age. She's like 50, right? And her voice is still amazing. All the ladies, they brought it. So again, I would definitely, whoever SWV comes with, I would say, because they normally come as a supporting act or with another act, I would definitely say it's worth. I almost bought a shirt. You know how you guys feel I feel about merch. All I saw was black, but I was passing by the merch shop, and these other ladies were looking at a pink shirt. And I was like, they don't have any pink up there, you know. And they said, oh, we have one left. We have one pink large one left, you know. So the other ladies were all buying up these pink SUV shirts. So I didn't get a chance to get a shirt, but that's okay. That is definitely okay, because I know that I will be seeing SWV again. Is that all that I wanted to say about SWV? Again, there we go. Okay, so you guys, I wanted to talk a little bit about something that occurred to me while I was enjoying myself, while I was partying, singing all these rap songs that I really don't know. And you guys, if you notice my pre-video that I did, how black I got on that video, did you know? When in Rome, right? Because I was in that, and it's just a different, it's a different culture. It's a different thing, you know. So I didn't even realize this until I watched the video later, and I'm like, okay, so why all of a sudden did Monique get black? Video, but yeah. But I just I was thinking about the 90s. I was thinking about that whole decade, and about why I'm proud of SWV and why I'm proud of Jodeci, because back then when singers came out in the 90s, you not only had to sing, you had to be cute. You had to know how to dress, right? You had to be fashionable. And you basically had to rap. You had to dance, you had to rap, you had to be cute, and you had to sing. So in the 90s, I think it was harder for singers and these acts to come out and get contracts with labels, and because you had to do all of those things. It was the era of BET, it was the era of MTV, it was the era of VH1, it was the era of, you know, all the local video stations that were around in New York or in Detroit or in Chicago, in LA. It was just the era where you just had to be a singer, you had to be cute, you had to be fashionable, you had to dance, and you had to rap. You had to do all of those things, right? Now, you ain't gotta know how to sing. And I was thinking about like what was going on in my life in the 90s, and I graduated high school in the 90s, I graduated college in the 90s, I got married in the 90s, I had my first 2 children in the 90s. A lot went down in the 90s. So for these bands and these creatives to still be active, right, and to have survived all of those things, and also the record people were still in left and right from these talented people. Left and right. So these tours, they're their bread and butter. They're their bread and butter. You know, we're listening to them on Spotify. We're not buying their albums or their tapes or their CDs. We're listening to them on Spotify. How much do you think Spotify is paying them? How much do you think we're paying? Yeah, the tickets sometimes these tickets were really, really reasonable, very reasonable. Again, if you love music, if you're a lover of music, if you're a lover of artistry, then go ahead and support with your dollars, support, you know, these bands. So definitely do that. And it's important to do that. So that's basically all I had for this time around. But I do want to say one more thing about that era of that type of music. I want to say that was the last great R&B era. Y'all can argue with me if you want to. I don't care. It was the last great R&B era. Now it's up to this next generation to do better, but the R&B nowadays, cause y'all don't sing. Y'all don't sing. And you know why you don't sing? Because you're not trained in the church. You're trained in TikTok and Instagram. You letting these people train you. And no wonder that my kids are all off into these K-pop bands and stuff like that, because what are we producing for them? What kind of music? We're not authentic anymore. These guys, they were trained in the church. They were trained in gospel. They were trained that way. Or they were trained by somebody who was trained in the church. That's where you paid your dues at. That's where you knew octaves and how you could. It's just way different now. Now we bringing up kids who just trained by auto-tune, and they just trained by, I'm gonna leave it alone. Yeah, you're right. I can't sing. I don't sing. I've never been in a band, right? But I buy your music and I pay top dollar for it. I'm the one that pays for it. So you guys, again, support these acts. Go ahead and support them. And again, if you find value in this, if I'm encouraging you to go ahead and go to these concerts, to participate in what the artists of our time, right? We're doing or before our time are still doing, because they're still here, then definitely subscribe to Melanin Monarchy, because that lets me know that you're listening, that you're out there, that it's getting conversations started, that you're learning some new things, that is causing you to go on Wikipedia or well, you really can't trust Wikipedia, but go and do your own research. You know, if you feel like it's adding to you, that is building you, that is encouraging you, that is continually to water the seeds that's already in your life, then definitely go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also follow me on Instagram. You can find me anywhere. That probably shouldn't be a thing, right? People shouldn't be able to find me so easily, but yeah, I'm here. But I love you. And I so love you. Have a wonderful Labor Day. Today is Labor Day. And again, this was a long one, but there was a lot to cover. So toodles.